Well, the bells at Westminster United Church have been ringing out over Wolseley for well over a century, but its sounds have been somewhat muted in recent years. The congregation has been unable to use their sanctuary due to structural deficiencies in the church's roof, and repair estimates run well into the millions of dollars. It seems only fitting, perhaps, that other bells should try to come to the aid of the church, specifically handbells. And that's exactly what's happening on May the 4th at 2 p.m. A full handbell choir will be performing a fundraising concert at the church in a co-production between Westminster United and Broadway-First Baptist to ensure that beautiful music can once again grace the sanctuary of one of Winnipeg's most celebrated cultural venues. Marlon Goolcharan and Susan Stevenson are two of the organizers and ringers involved in this fundraising concert. Both join me in the Classic 107 studios this morning. Hello, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, first of all, maybe we can start with you, Marlon. Maybe for those people who don't know, what's the latest on Westminster United's roof and its status?
What I can tell you is at the moment the sanctuary is closed. We don't know if... we don't know what direction we're heading. We don't know when it will be repaired, but at the moment we're just trying to figure that out. So I don't sit on any of the boards, so I can't really answer to that. But I do know that we are worshiping in the hall currently, and services continue as normal.
Okay. So then maybe you can talk a little bit then about, maybe I'll address this to Susan, about what makes this, about the collaboration between your two churches, and what I understand is quite a historic tie between them.
Well, we need a new roof too.
My
Surprise.
goodness.
But we're not in for the hit that Westminster is.
Yeah.
I think I first met Marlon at camp, or was it before camp? We have gone to the International Music Camp.
Oh, sure.
At the Peace Gardens.
Yes.
There's a handbell session there, and every year, and so, we got to be together on that, and he's come and subbed with us because that's always a problem with handbell choir. We call it team handbell rather than handbell choir, because if it's a choir, you can be without a couple of voices and not have a problem. But with team handbell, it's like playing a piano with missing keys. Mm-hmm. So you need extra people to come in when they can. Broadway and Westminster are quite close as far as locations are concerned. Draw a line from Westminster to First Pres, and you'll go through the middle of Broadway-First sanctuary. The other sort of interesting thing about that is there used to be a Wolseley ministerial group that used to do curling and all sorts of social activities, and do pulpit exchanges and do choir exchanges and stuff like that. So we were involved with that in times past. Also, our organ came out of what is now the food fair.
Oh.
When it was the Tivoli Theater. So that whole sort of little area is, it's interlaced because it's Wolseley too,
Right. There's just this history of such a strong community within that neighborhood. So two churches, both in need of new roofs, and up comes this idea to try and raise some money for those roofs. Maybe, Marlon, you could speak to how that sort of collaboration and this idea for a fundraising handbells concert came about in the first place.
Absolutely, Nolan. This was conceived back in January. Of course, I attend Westminster United. And I just wanted to say that it's actually not the roof that needs repairs. It's actually the ceiling that needs repairs. I just wanted to mention that.
Important distinctions, yes, of course.
Right. But this was all conceived, because this is what I do. I stay up at night, all hours, thinking and have all these thoughts going through my head. And I was thinking, how can I help? How can I contribute to the repairs just as a person or as a steward of the church? And then it came to me. I thought, well, we can put on a concert. I know, Susan, what about a handbell concert? First of all, I don't think I can't remember the last time since I've been there that we've had a handbell concert. We've had choral concerts, we've had wind concerts, but we've never had a handbell concert. So I thought this is the perfect setting and time for a concept like this, and that's how this came about. And then after that, I just started putting it together, every day, day by day, and it all came together. And now it's happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Susie, maybe you can break down for us what kind of music can we expect to be hearing on Sunday afternoon, without giving too much away, though, because we want people to show up.
Well, we're a church choir, so we normally play sacred type music. We are also having the handbell choir from Fort Rouge Elementary School. They tend to play more secular.
Mm-hmm.
They have an absolutely awesome, amazing arrangement of Joshua Fit the Battle of Jericho. I heard them at the Winnipeg Music Festival. They got gold for their 2 pieces that they did. And they're very enthusiastic.
Okay.
So, and then we've been talking about the possibility of maybe playing a couple of massed pieces. I don't know if that will happen or not. We're still waiting because they just got the music.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you can hear, but we also have on the docket at least one piece that is an original by a handbell composer. And we have, even with the sacred pieces, we have lots of fancy techniques in them.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's not just stodgy.
When you say fancy techniques, what are we talking about?
Using mallets
All right.
to make a more percussive sound, using marts, which is when you take the handbell, lift it about a couple of inches above the foam, and then hit it into the foam, which again is a very stop percussive thing. I think we have a couple of tower swings. What else do we have in there? Oh, a couple of echoes, I think, maybe, where you actually ring the bell and then just tap it gently on the foam, and it's like skipping a stone across the water. So the sound sort of goes wah, 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 wah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Marlon, what is so special to you about handbells, and what keeps you coming back to this instrument and this type of group as a musician in this context?
Well, it's definitely a genre that I believe is is kind of forgotten about. It's not spotlighted as other genres, as say the piano, the orchestra, the organ. And I think if you haven't heard handbells play, that you will definitely be in for a treat, because there is power in handbells. I mean, it is like an orchestra. I mean, it's a percussive orchestra, but you can make many different types of sounds. And of course, it is music, and its music speaks to everyone. It speaks to the soul, not just, I think, anyone. It speaks to anyone and to any language. So that's one of the reasons that I keep coming back to it. And I just wanted to mention that one of the pieces actually in there is that we are playing is an arrangement of Jesu Joy, which is a piece that's very dear to me because it was one of the first songs. It was one of the first songs that I actually had on CD. So I'm kind of dating myself, but I think I listened to it every day, day and night. But we are playing an arrangement of that on Sunday. On Sunday, May the 4th.
That's right.
Yes.
Now, what about for you, Susan? What keeps you coming back to the handbells as an instrument?
Well, I started out playing in the choir, and just the sounds and the techniques and stuff, and the fact that although you're only responsible for usually 4 bells, you make music with, depending on how many octaves you have, 37 bells. I could never play a piano or a keyboard instrument where I could get the number of notes that you can get from a bell choir. And so I got hooked on that, and then I sort of did some stepping in for the director at the time, who was off. He'd have to go and miss a couple of practices right after Christmas because he was busy traveling. And I said, well, this isn't good for us. Maybe we should, I can wave my hands around because we're working on pieces that we've already started.
Yeah.
And he said, fine, have at, that's great. And then when he retired, he threw me in the deep end and said, here, you direct. And now, so for me, it's a chance to try and coordinate everybody and get a musical sound out of this instrument where I just was one part before. Now I'm more like the orchestrator or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, and I do play in handbell quartet so that I get to keep my chops.
Yeah, sure.
And I sub when I get a chance. So, yeah.
Well, audiences can see those chops this Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock at Westminster United as well. You can find out more information this morning at our website, classic107.com, and on the Classic 107 app. Susan Stevenson and Marlon Goolcharan, thank you so much for joining us here to tell us more about this.
Thank you, Nolan.
Thank you. It's been fun.